I'm here for another Termsiders channel video. We've got a deck tech with just newly minted top 4 at SCG Con Las Vegas. Ryan effing Miles here to give us a deck tech on his Kaisa list that he was able to make this top 4 with. So Ryan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and let us know about you and a little bit about the Kaisa deck that you decided to bring.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Ryan effing Miles. I've been playing card games for a very long time. I'm actually a game developer on Star Wars Unlimited. So if you are looking for another card game to play, I got you. I've played Magic, played Yu-Gi-Oh, played Force of Will, played Battle Spirits, played a lot of card games, and Riftbound is the new thing because I play a lot of League of Legends and I had a blast. Kaisa was my choice because I think for Houston, I might switch it up because I have that metal card.
Right, yeah.
Has one, but for this event, it was just a cash event. I'm just going to play the best deck. So I really just took a lot of inspiration from Omega Zero's list when he won the Chinese National. Made a couple of tweaks on my own just from having played the deck, and just that's what I landed on. The deck felt great.
All right, well, we know Kaisa kind of just this very strong tempo deck is absolutely dominating the format. So why don't you start off with some of the kind of early game stuff that you've got, because we see a little bit of variation between maybe between 6 and 8 of the early drops, and then the spells in different ratios from a lot of different players. So I kind of want to see what you ended up landing on.
Yeah, there were definitely like 11 cards that I just knew I was playing 3 of, and a lot of it's going to come into the early drops. So it's like these are your spells, your Dreaming Tree activators, right? But in terms of the actual early drops, it's the 3 Watchful Sentry, the 3 Raven Bloom, and then I did go for 2 Poro. I was just expecting Kaisa to be the most played deck in the room, and I wanted the Poro. I felt like it was one of the better 2 drops. I'm like kind of low on the Raven Bloom Sentry, and the Poro is just like the best 2 drop in the mirror. So I wanted to go up on the Poro, just like have that little extra bit of consistency over the Omega Zero list that was when I was playing the 1. And it was just like great. So yeah, just the 8 2 drops for me.
Yeah, seen a lot of 7. I like 8 personally, and
just feels
basically every deck it kind of feels a little bit better. I hate missing that 2 drop. So
a lot of times too, you just like find random lethals with like on 12 you go like 2 drop Time Warp, and then you can just like get a Conquer and or like untap and play Watcher and get a Conquer with it, and having that 2 drop just means so much. Yeah,
it's absolutely huge. Let's just quickly touch on these spells, because like these kind of are the very obvious 3s, but kind of explain. I mean, I think the big one that is becoming a lot more popular now, but it is that 3 of main deck Retreat.
Oh yes, I like when I started playing this game, I thought this was like the best card in the entire game. I'm like, it saves my guy and it gets me a rune. Like I'm ramping and beating interaction. Like that's just so crazy. And after playing this event, I still think that's true. It's like that card is just insane. If you're on Dreaming Tree, it says draw a card. It just puts your opponent in so many awkward situations where like this is something that just like Kaisa not having to pay power costs, and then like Retreat also just like not letting you have to engage in combat and then keep your resources flowing is just like actually crazy. Yeah. So like 3 of all of these, 3 of the main 2 drops, 2 Poros, and then of course the other 2 cost card is the 3 Falling Star. Actually probably the best card in the game, but Retreat's a big number 2 in my mind.
I mean, this one maybe gets kind of crept out by some other stuff. This feels like that's gonna just be good.
This card is just so good.
All right, let's kind of move forward, I guess maybe to some of the more mid-game or role player cards that you've got, and then we'll take a look at the bombs from there.
Yeah, like I said, it's like 11 3-ofs that are pretty mandatory. It's like your other mid-game stuff is like your Yordles and your Noxious Hopeful. Hopeful's really cool because like it's also a turn 1 play where if you're on the draw, you can like stupefy their 1 drop, and even if it's Poro, you can pay the deflect with Kaisa and then just play an Noxious Hopeful. And having a 4 power guy on turn 1 is just like one of the coolest things you can do. And it just is having big stats matters in some of the matchups. Obviously, we got the 3 Darius, we got the 3 Watcher, and then my extra tech stuff that's like not my 4-ofs. It's the Poros, and then it's 2 Time Warp, 1 Acathian Rain, and 1 Kaisa in the main deck.
So this is the big one I want to ask you about is the Acathian Rain. Mega Zero was on 2.
It was.
I've seen players even go up to 3 because of its use in the mirror. Curious how we landed on just a single copy and instead kept the double Time Warp, where I've seen people maybe trim there to even go bigger on the Rain.
That was just like from reps on the deck. I just felt like Time Warp was more consistently winning me games, and that's just like not a objectively true thing.
No, it's
that
vibes.
was that was my experience.
But
so I do have the second Acathian Rain in the board. I don't really board it in against Kaisa. I just felt like boards, when Dreaming Tree was gone and like the resource economy got really low, like boards get simplified a lot quicker, and like your Fallen Stars just kind of keep the board clear. You don't like need double Acathian Rain. You do need to see Acathian Rain, but I wasn't really feeling like I needed a second copy. The second one on the side is more for the non-orange decks and the non-Kaisa decks. So it's like the Victors, especially anything that doesn't play Unyielding Spirit, Annie sometimes, Mundo decks, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. And speaking of this the sideboard, let's go ahead and take a look at your side and see, maybe explain some of the some of the different configurations of your 39 that you're going to be presenting, at least in the sense of, some of the main matchups you're going to see.
Yeah, Sideboard is also based on vibes. Starting off 2 Thermo Beam, that just felt like the right number to try and beat the Aurora decks and pretend I had a good matchup there, or a playable matchup. I don't think I played any Aurora. I ID'd with the only Aurora I played, so it didn't come up, but obviously just like you kind of need it in the side for those matchups. This was an MVP. Bring Here Thunder Song.
I love this card. Yes. This is one of my favorites. The first tournament I ever played in this game, an online tournament, brought Bryn Here in my side, played into a Yi. That guy did not play the game.
Yep. It's just so good. It's good against all the purple decks. It's good against Yi. It's good against the combat trick decks like RE, like I said. Not usually great against Kai'Sa, although I will side it against Kai'Sa if game 1 I'm seeing like Void Seekers and Singularities and stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't want to like just turn off their like Stupefies or whatever. But like all the purple decks, like really you can just like do this and then all their
no Ride the Wind.
No Ride the Wind. Yeah, no Fight or Flight to like deny you points. Just a really solid card. And like it's got 5 might. Like that's kind of good.
Yeah, I think that's like a very underrated house, and that's actually really cool that you're even playing 2 cup. This is not a 1 of. This is I think this card is actively very good, and I'm going to be playing it in a lot of spots.
The things that I'm most worried about as Kai'Sa, I do think this is just like the best deck, but like your I think this is the best deck because your medium hands are so good, and but Annie can just like high roll you, and Teemo can just like high roll you, and I feel like that like the purple matchups are the ones that you have to be like really cautious of, and just like you don't have a free win against those. They can really put you to the test. So like it was very important to me that I had like some answer in the sideboard for the purple matchups, and I thought like this was the best card for that.
And you beat Prismaticism in the top 8 on the Teemo. Did the Bryn Here's actually come up? I'm just curious. This is just strictly like did it come up in that one time that you actually played them?
I did bring it in. The first time I played it, it was just like kind of a make you flip all your hiddens. It was like he flipped a Teemo, he like played a stupid rock from his hand to stop my Kai'Sa from challenging in, and it's like I don't get to conquer there, but at least I got you to do the things, and I developed a 5 might unit and got those threats out of the way, which was pretty cool. And then in game 3, I drew it when we were both on like 2 cards in hand, and I'm just like, here's my 5 power guy. It was like, hey, it's still a guy, it gets the job done. Other stuff, we got the extra Cathian Rain in the board, like I mentioned. We do have the Mundo. I do like this against a lot of like the Mirror, trying to just like beat up some of the Dead Bloom decks and just get as big as them. Something to note, I do have the Zaun Warrens battlefield,
that makes sense.
Helps fuel the Mundo. We'll talk more about that later, but like I did feel like the Mundo was kind of getting stuff done. One, Smokescreen, again, for like the decks that just try and go bigger than you and like set and stuff like that when they're trying to challenge into you.
So good against set. It's insane.
I wish I had more room for more Smokescreens, but I was like kind of feeling it out, and then I didn't play any sets, so it came up. And then the Progress Day in the Mirror card economy is everything, and it can be hard to like get this down, and I sided it in against every Mirror, and I never drew it. So in theory, this card's probably great, but I actually have no experience.
Who knows?
With it, so.
It's very hard. Either you find the time to play it, or you never do, and the game ends. So
exactly.
There we go. So let's talk about these battlefields and your strategy with them. What you're going to be going game 1, what you're going to be going when you win game 1, when you lose game 1, that kind of thing.
Game 1 is definitely Dreaming Tree. That is just like the best Kai'Sa battlefield, and I think you just want to win game 1. Like your deck is so powerful that you can just like win game 1 when decks aren't boarded for you. And this is like something I'm still thinking about. Like for Houston, I think people might just be more main decked for Kai'Sa, and I wonder if like you save the Dreaming Tree for like the game where you're on the play or something like that. Even the Kai'Sa Mirror, because a lot of people side out their cleaves. If you just don't go Dreaming Tree Dream 1 and then you have a sideboard pan that includes keeping in your cleaves for your Dreaming Tree game, I think that might be a way to get an edge, but it wasn't something I did this tournament, just like kind of thought about it.
That's actually just really neat to even think about. I love just these kind of additional battlefield strategies. I think it's one of the deepest parts of this game. That surface level doesn't feel like that's the case, but as we even get more battlefields, that's just going to increase that complexity.
One of the coolest games I actually played today was a Kai'Sa Mirror where I went into Vile Maw's Lair, and they went into Void Gate. So it was just like 2 battlefields that were like very hostile to ever try and like sit at. So that was just like a really fun game. Vile Maw's Lair, I actually got this from, there was a player in Atlanta, Kendall, his actual I'm not on Twitter. He went 5-2 on day 1, and then he sent me his list, and I'm like, oh, we're 2 cards different. And he's like, you should play the second Poro. I'm like, I got it. He's like, also you should play Vile Maw's Lair. And I'm like, I've been kind of not liking Godwilla recently, so I wanted to try the Vile Maw's Lair. And it makes a lot of sense, and I really like it against the Kiana matchup specifically, because Kiana is like so hard to kill. I know a lot of people like to play Reaver's Row, but I just felt like when I was playing Reaver's Row, they just moved Kiana there. I'm like, I want to beat the Kiana up. They're like, I'll just take it back, and it just became like the Kiana just has to die.
You want to kill her with unit combat as well. It's like so important.
So you just move something here and say, all right, Kiana, you want to come beat up my guy, or am I going to hold this battlefield forever? And they're like, all right, I'll come take your guy. And then you can just cleave over the Kiana, and I'll leave the cleaves in against the Kiana matchup and just try and trap her with the Vile Mauslayer, just set up the game for that. And it felt like fine in the mirror too. A lot of the mirror is just like, things just don't sit at battlefields. It can be a little annoying. Sometimes you can like get an opponent's Darius stuck there if you play your cards right, which is kind of cool. And my third battlefield, of course, was the Zon Warrens. And the reason I went for like these two battlefields instead of the Targon's Peak or the Reaver's Row or like the Godwillow Grove, I just felt like these were generally neutral and like something my opponent might not be super used to playing with. And like I've been playing the game for 2 weeks. I know like everybody has, but I'm just like a card game player. I'm not really like a grinder for Riftbound specifically. But I just felt like if I had just some generically good stuff and just like a lot of these games just get into the mud and you just have to like kind of rely on intuition and like skill diffing people.
100%.
And it just felt like if I'm not trying to do like go first, Godwillow, have this line, I'm just like, let's just play some weird stuff and just like make other people figure out how to play the game.
Make them uncomfortable, even if they've been a grinder for a while. Now they're uncomfortable, and you're also uncomfortable because you played for 2 weeks, but you played enough card games in your lifetime, you're like, yeah, who cares? We got it.
That was kind of the plan, but it ended up working out, so that was kind of cool. I played some really weird, I know I had a Kaisamir on stream where my opponent just like time warped 3 times to draw a card. Like those games are just like so weird, and like a lot of these games, like when they devolve, just kind of end up in that situation. So just like playing stuff that makes your opponent like not have like history and experience to rely on, and that might not be possible as the game goes on and the meta gets more defined and more people play more games. But like for this tournament, I felt like I did have a little bit of an edge just like playing weird stuff.
All right, last question, because I forgot it, because we haven't done that many Riftbound. What's the rune split? And does it like really, is there anything interesting about it?
It matters. No, it's 6 and 6, and in game 1, I'm top 8 against Teemo. My first 6 runes were blue, and I couldn't Fallen Star. Or no, I had like my first like 7 of my first 6 were blue, so I played like 1 Fallen Star, and I needed like a second Fallen Star because he played an Ember Monk to his bench, and I looked at all my 6 blue runes, and I'm like,
yikes. Well, I mean, that is why you play 6 and 6 though, to not have that happen.
Yeah,
so
but I could go like, I know people go 7 and 5 on the red, and just like because a lot of your early game is red, and then your blue just comes up later for like the Widows and the Watchers. But like, I don't know. A lot of times I've felt like with like Time Warp, I just want to like be able to cast it on. I guess it's like you can always cast it on 10 if you have 5. But
if you could do it again, would you be 7 and 5?
I just to think about it more. I was kind of going on vibes. I was playing 7-5 for a while, and I forget. I think I was like playing Smokescreen in the main when I was 7 and 5, and I was like drawing Smokescreen on like 4 red runes and being like, man, I kind of like Smokescreen Conquer here, but I can't. And I was probably wrong, so don't put that in the video. No.
No, he's never been wrong before in his life. You are Boulevard's brother, absolutely. There we go. One more question I had. Sprite Mother, this has been a contentious card. It kind of fell in and out of a lot of different lists. Curious on kind of just your thoughts on it. Didn't make the cut for you, but
I just don't get it, honestly. Like it's a card that I looked at, I'm like, okay, like I just don't I don't value spending power early on, and it feels like it's kind of good to like people playing like turn 4 and like take a thing. Like I'll always play my Kaisa. Like I will try extremely hard not to accelerate my Kaisa and just like play it.
Play it on and just turn 2.
Yep, because I'm playing the double time warp. You just like need to get to that like 9-10 resources. A couple of Kaisa opponents, especially like early on in the game, early on in the rounds, that just like we're all learning the game obviously, but like I was like they were accelerating Kaisa, getting early point leads, and I'm just like.
I think I'm winning.
Yeah. Just like they got stuck on 7 power, and that's like the thing that you can't get stuck on at 7 power. But like once I start developing my board and I'm at 9 runes and I'm untapping and I'm like making you fight for the board, you're like, oh, I have to play Fallen Star. Oh, I have to like play Hextech Raid plus another thing, and you can get stun locked at 7, and you just have to get to 8 or 9 before you can start like really aggressively spending power, I think.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with us and doing this deck tech, taking a little extra time in this empty convention hall that after the very long day. Just final floor for you. Any shout outs or like if you want people to find you, if you don't want them to find you, just I'm Ryan
F. Miles on all the social medias. I'm the better Miles brother. That's my claim to fame. So
I absolutely love it. All right, thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the sub button. Let us know if you want to see more deck techs like this from events in the future. I think we plan to do it anyways, whether you like it or not. So yeah.
Cool.
We'll see you on the next one.